was shot in 15 days?
Yep, 15 days. We were 20 scenes short and 5 days short. And we waited a year for the additional 5 days. They never came. So we got bought in a merger. It's a long story. If you know, Joyce and I on the DVD, you could buy the making of.
Yeah.
But to make a long story short, we waited a year for the additional 5 days. They never came, so Lionsgate gave us 1 day. So Joyce and I restructured the entire script. I shot 41 setups in 1 day, and my editor and I went back for 5 days and recut the entire movie from beginning to end. So a lot of things Joyce rewrote. For example, the Brat's voiceover was supposed to be a voiceover. We flew her in and shot her live on camera because we had a lot of things that we had to piece together. And I sent those girls to a real prison so they could see what prison was like in the Boucher, Monica. Yeah, let's talk about that.
As an actor sensorially, to really be able to touch and tap into the coldness, the feeling that people were here, people were dying there, that people were on life or death row, it really helped us to tap in. It was freezing. I just remember it was freezing. You know, and it also kind of speaks to this time, and I don't really want to get too political, but we're in a time now where it's like, you know, search and stop and search and having to be careful because we have a new elected in there, and we really do have to be careful because, you know, the fear about we as African Americans and making sure we do stay out of prisons, you know, our young African American men and women. And so, you know, it speaks to the space of going back to old slavery and this being the new slavery. So,
no, I mean, the Boucher's right. I mean, in fact, Joyce, if you look, I mean, of course, Ava DuVernay, who is brilliant, has done a phenomenal documentary called The 13th, which covers way beyond what we could ever cover in all of the movies, Civil Brand. But what we did try to do is parallel our story to a plantation. If you noticed, the name of, Joyce made the name of the prison, Whitehead Correctional Institution. And so, you know, one of my favorite lines in the film is when you guys are trying to explain to Lisa Raye, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. And she said, that's not right. And little Monica turns around and said, hell no, that shit ain't right, slave driving motherfuckers. Welcome to the plantation, Sister Francis. Because that's basically what it was, you know. And then when we did the research and found out that the corporations were coming to prison, we were like, why would a corporation come to a prison? So I went online and found out it was like the whole junkie world lit up, you know, Victoria's Secret, Home Depot, I could go on and on, all doing business with prisons, and we were thinking they were still making license plates.
Exactly right. Before we go any further, I just want to thank the Pan-African Film Festival for inviting us back.
Thank you,
We opened the festival around 2003 or so, and so to be brought back in the Spotlight series for their 25th anniversary is really an honor. Really. So I wanted to do that. Also want to acknowledge Preston Whitmore, who, I share writing credit with him, and I like to say Preston put this train on the track and we brought it into the station. So it's important for me to acknowledge him.
Yes, and we want to thank Jeff Clanagan from Cold Black, who was our producer, and Stevie Lockett, and all of the Most Def, you know, who came through and cut his beard, and everybody told me, oh, Neema, he's a big time. I first worked with him on a show called Cosby Mysteries. When I won, I said, I need a little warrior, skinny and vulnerable. Who could I get? My daughter. I said, what about Dante? She said, you mean Most Def? I said, the Most Def? Who's that? She said, that's the rapper. His name is Most Def now. Anyway, I called him. He was the first one there and the last one to leave. So we just want you to definitely have your opportunity to do your talk back. Just want to throw it. Are there any questions that you might want to ask us about the film? Yes, sir.
How long did it take y'all to complete the film and like wrap, you know, make everything complete, like from
Dave?
About
from like
3 years altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's interesting because this is the first time I find it interesting because this is the first time I'd actually seen it on screen because it had originally gone straight to.
No, it was in the theaters. You saw it in the theaters. We had theatrical distribution, remember?
Okay, well.
And you saw it in the act.
It's been a minute, you know, after a while, one's memory, Okay, well, but it was really nice to see it again.
It
And
was.
felt
It
just
was.
the freshness and
It
seeing
was.
the characters and the bigness and
It
the
was,
life.
and we didn't
And
have any money.
Sundance, right.
No, we were at Sundance, we won, all the festivals, Urban World, ABFF and all that, but it was a shock because I did not make the movie that I set out to make. And at the end of the day, Joyce now like, well, what are we gonna do? Well, okay, it's gonna go straight to DVD. If it saves one little black girl from going to jail, I'm good. Unfortunately, the Brat did go to jail right when the movie came out, but that's the way it goes. But then somehow it took on a life of its own. And it just started, when we had our other screenings here at Pan African, after we opened, it was shot on 35mm Fuji, so we had to run, Santuan Babu did 2 screenings. And one screening was full of women who had been imprisoned in Sybil Brand in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
And Joyce, Joyce had done a lot of research. We talked to women in prison. This story is not a made-up story, It's fictitious, so to speak, but it's based on reality.
Exactly right. And, we think about men, when men go to prison, families are held together by women. But when women go to prison, the children go into the system. And that has devastated our community and continues to do so.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought about a film about reentry?
About what?
A film about reentry.
Prison reentry.
Maybe we are now. There are some ideas around the Sybil Brand, so.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
About casting, did you have a lot of these people in your head before you actually went to casting, or was it a process?
It was a very small, we didn't really cast this film, we just selected people. No casting was involved except for, the background people that were in Nashville, Tennessee. We were supposed to shoot it in North Carolina, but after the script was rewritten and we gave it to the Corrections Corporation of America, they shut us down and told us this script is a lie, and not only couldn't you not shoot in this prison, you can't shoot in any prison in North Carolina or South Carolina.
Right.
So we got shipped to Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah.
And made it under the radar, so to speak.
Yeah, very, very low key. It was bad. In fact, this prison, remember the bush that we shot in was a historical landmark, and as soon as we got there, we found out that the FBI and the Corrections Corporation of America had offices in the prison. I was like, every day I thought we were going to jail. But you do things like you shoot Most Death against a blank computer screen and you fill it in when you get back home, The film took a long time for multiple reasons, which we won't even go into. But I just say that because I waited a year for those 5 days. I had a very loyal cast. I love you guys. They waited with me. They wouldn't shoot without me. And then finally I called them and said, we're going to have to do one day, and then we shot that day. Right. 41 sets in one day. And Most Dev couldn't come. And our brilliant writer, Joyce, wrote that great line. I guess they let him go because he was a good guy, caught up in a bad situation.
Because he wasn't nowhere to be found.
we couldn't get him. Any other questions? We good? Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you.